Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the We Blow Kart Retro Podcast. My name's Ash, and I'm joined again by Alistair. How's it going, good sir?
Hey, apparently there was second sight on the Gamecube as well.
Oh, I'm gonna kill you.
I've just found this game. I remember having this. It was so good. Free Radical at like one of the last games they made.
Well, you give away what we're talking about today anyway. So, for those who may have wanted a surprise, even though it'll say on the title, we're talking about the GameCube today. See, that's us with all the high qualityness there, all the top quality production values in this podcast. So yeah, we're going to talk about the GameCube this week. Probably a little less controversial than some of our other episodes. The GameCube originally released in the EU on the May 3rd, 2002. So this year is the 20th anniversary of the GameCube in the UK. So yeah, I had a GameCube. You never did.
Nope.
You were the PS2
come
guy.
around to yours and play it.
Yeah, you had the PS2. I had the GameCube.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember originally getting it. I got an import one, a Japanese one, early before it came out in the UK. I don't know how. I think I bought it online, and I was young, and my parents went with me to meet this random Japanese guy, and he was stood there in this. I remember it vividly. It was like bloody Newcastle. We met him or something, and he had this bright yellow raincoat on, and he had this GameCube in the bag. And he was a lovely boy. I can't remember his name, but I got home and then everything was in Japanese, obviously.
Yep.
I got Luigi's Mansion and Wave Race, I think, originally with it. And yeah, I was blown away by it. I'm a big fan of the GameCube. It is one of my favourite consoles of all time. Still is to this day. And it's a shame it never took off to the heights it could have done. And I believe that is 100% down to him not putting a DVD player in it and making the disc stupidly small. I still believe
it's a
that.
shame. It's a shame that's the thing that killed it, but it was that era.
Yeah, let's fight piracy by putting stupid little discs in. So yeah. So you used to come around a lot and play the GameCube with me, and I had a wide variety of games. I mean, we were known for getting the sort of more weird and far out and the sort of niche games, weren't we, when we were younger?
Yeah, mainly because like we had a couple of good secondhand stores, like in like not the regulars. We had a couple like self-owned, and they would get pretty good like obscure games. So they were pretty good for that.
Yeah. Do you remember Game Station? Obviously, before it got bought by Game and dismantled.
Yeah.
Game Station were great.
Yeah,
that's where I got Gotcha Force from for the GameCube, and I got it stupidly cheap. And nowadays, I think I paid like 15 quid for it, brand new, sealed. And nowadays, it's like 100 plus quid. 15.
Oh, 15. Yeah, gonna say like now it's like 200, ain't it?
Oh man, it's over 100, and it makes me sad. Now, if you don't know what Gotcha Force is, you're missing out as well. It is a absolute barnstormer of a game, where basically imagine Pokemon meets like robots and tanks, and you sort of battling it out in third person in like little arenas. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's basically like, well, it's an arena fighter, but it's like at the time of where they did it weren't like just anime trash. Like they were like, because it's still made by Capcom, so it still had like legitimacy. Because like Street Fighter and like Darkstalkers and like Rival Schools, but Arena Fighter, it was like their take. I mean, they already had because they had already done Power Stone beforehand, so you could. I don't know if this is true, but like you could probably feel like the legacy of that coming down into it. It felt as good.
I never played Power Stone, but I know like it's got that Capcom flair to it.
Yeah, the feel, the flair, the sense of balance, or sense of an idea of balance to it.
Yeah, exactly. And it came out in 2004, and did absolutely terrible. I mean, I was looking at it today when we were chatting before the show. Turns out in Japan it even had a manga, which makes sense. It feels like a tie-in game to something that never happened.
I would have owned that manga as a child.
Yes,
I would have been that. I would have been that kid.
And apparently, in March 2012, Capcom reprinted it in Japan on the GameCube 9 years after its original release, but they never did out with it after that. So, I mean,
Capcom's like this. They do weird stuff like this. It's like they hit like the Alien versus Predator arcade game on a UK only arcade stick.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's the thing that exists.
Things like that.
Yeah, that's the thing that exists. I don't know why. It costs like £200, and it's the only way you can play Alien versus Predator.
Oh, you're on about the home arcade, aren't you? Yeah,
yes.
I had that. I'd recently got rid of it just because it took up so much space, and the only game I was keeping it for was Avian versus Predator. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's an odd one because there's it's a cool game, but you've got to basically buy this £100 arcade stick, which is shaped like the Capcom logo. Like look at me, I am Capcom. Can you be? And all the other games have been released on other formats. So yeah, I was a bit annoyed about it, but I finally got rid of it just for space.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I don't get it. Like I don't get half that. I'm pretty sure it's some like deep legal thing, but it's just weird to think about. But it's just like back to this game, back to Gotcha Force. Just like watching the footage now, I'm just like going like just like having flashbacks. Just like this is what we played. This is it's hard to look back at like stuff like this because it's just like it doesn't look as good as I remember. But I remember it feeling really good.
Yeah, so the plot is the Earth is being attacked by gotcha borgs called the Death Force. Luckily, a child named Coptic Emperor. Now, that does not sound bad. That is like pure anime cheese in game, but it did have multiplayer as well. Like I say, you could have up to 4-player multiplayer.
I mean, that's what we did with it.
Different little borgs you could collect, and like this is just the standard one on the screen on this video. It's all I could really find online.
Yeah, because I remember it was like having like a ninja who flew like massive shurikens.
Yeah,
I remember him.
Like tanks and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I know we didn't get the absolute broken character because I've looked at like footage of this game like over the past couple of years, and there's this like singer that's in the game. Like she's an idol, a pop idol, like gotcha figure. And like you have to like complete the game 100% or something daft like that, and she's busted beyond belief. And like I can't remember us having that type of character, so it's just like, but like everything else about the game.
Was so many, I don't think we ever unlocked them all. To be fair, so
that was like a lot. Like I don't want to say 100, but I want to say close.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'd say that it was one of those weird games that I just picked up randomly and ended up playing loads of. So
it's just because it was good fun, man. Like it was like just really weird. Like it went like I won't say it's ahead of its time. Like oh man, it really kind of captured the zeitgeist. Or it's just like people weren't aware. I won't say that, but it's just like it was a tight game for like just like the right time, especially for like the GameCube. It had like the right type of like kitschy graphics. It ran super smooth because it's just like, you know, it probably ran at like 60. I would imagine because like everything Capcom did back then just ran at 60. Just felt super tight as well. I just remember that and like, damn, yeah, Capcom needs to make more games.
They do, yeah. It's crazy. There were games that weren't very good though as well. I mean, it wasn't all roses. We were talking about Universal Studios theme park adventure.
Yeah, that wasn't a good time. I mean, it
Oh
was
my
fun to
god.
play through, but it wasn't a good game.
No, but you could basically you walked around Universal Studios collecting pin badges for doing mini games, and the mini games were basically themed on all the movies, weren't they?
Yeah,
So
so you had like Jurassic Park or like Jaws or Back to the Future or I want to say Fast and Furious, but I'm pretty sure
no, there was E.T.,
they could
Jaws,
have been. They could have been.
Back to the Future, Woody Woodpecker was in it, E.T. was in it, but yeah, it was it was bad. Definitely not one I would recommend people play.
I would recommend it to just punish somebody. If someone had done you wrong, you give them that.
Yeah, give them that and tell them they've got to complete it because it was terrible.
Yeah. Where is it? I had come across a great little gem. Do you ever play Harvest Moon?
Yes, the Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon isn't the same anymore. It's like a broken shell of itself. But the Harvest Moon on GameCube was really good.
Yeah, it just had a really nice chill vibe. It was like basically Stardew Valley before Stardew Valley. So it was just like, and plus it was like 3D. So it was already like Stardew Valley 2, basically.
Yeah. And the GameCube had the first Animal Crossing, which was awesome. The original Animal Crossing was on GameCube in America, and you could play like NES games on it. You could get the NES games in the game, and you could then play them on the TV in the game, which I thought was awesome as well.
Yeah, I also like the fact that they hid more NES games in there that the devs didn't know about. Like other, basically, like programmers were coming in on like the days off and like hiding just different games in the game and hiding different stuff just all over the place. So like Animal Crossing, like for the GameCube, is like one hell of a ride. It's like it's insane how like packed that game is, especially considering because it's like it took advantage of like the yearly time system, so it actually had like a Christmas event, and I want to say it had a Christmas event, a New Year's event, and a Halloween event. I'm not 100% sure.
I honestly never played.
I know it had a New Year's event and a Christmas event. I remember that. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Because like if you actually set, you could like just randomly set it. They could just go into like the GameCube clock and just say, "Oh yeah, it's December 25th," and it would be Christmas in your Animal Crossing, which was nuts back then to think about.
But I'm sure Animal Crossing, you could use it as a way to sort of pirate on the console as well. It's like it's become one of those games that was like a key to get into it later on.
If
somehow.
If it used like an AR device, then yes.
I can't 100% remember, but I just remember it being quite sought after at one point for that reason.
Yeah.
But we're missing like the classics. I mean, obviously there is a lot of Nintendo games. There was obviously Luigi's Mansion, I love Luigi's Mansion. I go back and play it all the time, and it was extremely difficult to play in Japanese, I must admit. When he's like "suka suka suka suka," and you're like, "What the fuck are you saying, mate?" It's kind of difficult to sort of work out what you needed to do. I much prefer it in English. I'm not gonna lie. Absolutely adore Luigi's Mansion. They should make more of them. I mean, the Switch one for the newest one is really good, really, really good. Doesn't have the sort of nostalgia that I get from playing number one. Like I can go back and play one all the time, but I do enjoy them. I do enjoy the series. There was the Star Wars Squadrons games. They were always fantastic. The first one was amazing at launch, and then the second one came out, and you could run around a little bit, but you sort of ran like you'd shit your pants. You had like a little waddle to your character. Well, it was cool, and it improved it massively, but it just wasn't the same. I still think the first one is the best out of the two, but that's just my opinion. I'll get slack for that one day. But yeah, there's so much. The GameCube, like, why would you not want a console with a big plastic handle on? Everyone like forgets the beauty of that handle, and you could literally drop your GameCube down the stairs.
I mean,
or
you
you could
could do some self defense with the GameCube more than you could with any other console at the time.
yeah, you could bludgeon a robber to death and then still play it because it could withstand a new. Indiana Jones could have hidden it and he would have been safe.
That's true. If he was
So,
small enough, he could fit in
yeah,
that
if he
disc
was
compartment.
if he was shorter and a bit thinner, he would have got inside, and it would have been much less stupid than him getting in the bathtub.
Fridge.
So,
It's a fridge.
but yeah, I absolutely love it. I love it. There's so many cool games, and I'm just remembering them all. Then we've been starting talking about this. I mean, what do you remember playing a lot of when you were at mine?
Well, it was like we talked about this. It's like saying for me, it was just like seeing Wave Race for the first time.
Yeah,
Like it was just seeing it's like PlayStation 2 didn't have that tech yet. PlayStation 1 would have never had that type of tech at all. So it's just like seeing those waves and seeing like the boat physics, trying to handle like the waves. It was just insane at the time. It was just so mind blowing and just felt so different because it's just like, I don't know, like because it had a different graphics engine, so just everything just looked either slightly cleaner, slightly more crisp. It was just a bet like well, yeah, because it was the most powerful system at the time, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
it utilized a lot of things. I always thought the GameCube looked the best. That might have just been me. It always looked brighter, in my opinion, but that could have just been me. Like I say, I may have rose tinted glasses on, but when you look at it, when you think of like Mario, Sunshine, Wind Waker, they all look super crisp and clean. Do you remember where that time we had it was at school and we plugged the GameCube into the projector screen? Because obviously at schools they got rid of whiteboards and chalkboards, replaced them with these computer boards.
Yeah, it was in one of my classes. We had
on the last day. Yeah,
it was like in my classroom we had one of the first projector screens in the whole school, and we had basically hijacked the room to play Super Melee, Smash Brothers Melee on it, and we almost caused a riot in the school because so many kids tried to break into our classroom. We had to barricade the door. It was just like me, you, and a couple of other friends trying to do a Smash tournament.
Yeah, we had it on like 60-minute rounds though, didn't we? Because we had literally all day, and that was
because we had barricaded ourselves in. No one could get to us. No, even the teachers could get to us.
Yeah, it was mad. But it was playing Smash, like 4-player Smash, on a huge, and I mean, it's not. It must have been like 100-inch, probably this bloody whiteboard. It was amazing.
It was like 6 foot across. Like it was a big board.
Yeah, really fun.
It was pretty ridiculous.
But that's why I had my handles. I had my big chunky handles so I could carry it to school. If I didn't have a GameCube, we'd have been buggered. We'd have been like, how the hell do we take this anywhere? We can't do anything. It's got no handle. Oh no!
It would have been the PlayStation 2 I had backup in my backpack because I remember I took that on the day.
Yeah, but you couldn't carry it without that bag. The GameCube.
Yeah, that's true. It would have been a hassle. I would have had to like wrap the cords around it and like had to have made my own handle out of the cords.
Yeah, exactly. It just wouldn't be the same. But yeah, I love the GameCube. The purple, it just is such a cool color. I don't know why. I've got it in black. I've had more GameCubes, I think, than any other console as well. I've sold quite a lot because.
Didn't you at some point have like the limited edition like Resident Evil version?
Yeah, at one point I did. Yeah, I wish I'd still kept that. I really want the one I have never had that I really want is that like bright orange one. You know, the Japanese exclusive one that it's like a luminous orange. It is so bright, like pumpkin orange. I want that so bad. I saw one online that was like modified and it had like HDMI output that like hard modded in the HDMI output and everything in it. And I was I want that. And it was like 400 quid though. I was like, I can't buy that. I want though.
Can't justify it. It's a bit
No, not for the amount of time. Like I sold my last GameCube because I buy stuff. As a collector. I'm not as a collector anymore. I like to play stuff, and a lot of the time it just sits gathering dust. I'll focus on one or two machines. So for space, I've got kids. I ain't got a lot of space for me in house, so some things have to go. So I had to say goodbye to it. Now, at least there is good emulation for GameCube. I hope eventually we get GameCube stuff on the Switch properly. Clearly, it can run it when they brought out the Mario Sunshine and that recently. I'd like to see more be added, even if it's just a straight port onto Switch and I can just pay for it and play it. It's the backwards compatibility that Nintendo have shafted us with is terrible. So that's another story for another day. That, man.
Yeah, I don't like their like current like trend of just like gatekeeping a lot of their like history. I think it's, I know they're like quite, they are like, they like use like, they like to, they kind of like Disney in a way, they like to carefully show off their history. They like remind you, but not give you all of it.
Yeah.
In like a lot of respects. Oh my god, Pokemon Coliseum. Oh hot damn.
Yeah. Pokemon Coliseum.
Load up your Game Boy on through the. Oh, that was another weird feature, wasn't it? Yeah, the Game Boy Link.
Yeah,
Link
and then they also added the Game Boy Player, so you could play your Game Boy games on your telly, which was ace.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, because you could if you're crazy enough to have like 4 friends with 4 Game Boy Advances who had a link to something, you could play Link 4 Swords.
Yeah.
Through your Game
There was a couple of other games as well, but that one was the main one.
Yeah, that was
no
crazy.
one ever had that many friends with that many cables just to play that one.
I don't think none of us had anybody who actually had a Game Boy Advance at that time.
No. It's a shame because like the GameCube, it sold, according to online, it sold 21.75 million, which is bloody dreadful. Like how it sold that little with such a good lineup, I've no idea. I mean, I know they didn't get a lot of the multi-platform stuff eventually, but at launch it had so many exclusives. It had Resident Evil 4, it had the Resident Evil remake, which to this day is the best Resident Evil game. I'll fight you all. Resident Evil on the GameCube is the best Resident Evil game. It's better than Resident Evil 0. It's better than Resident Evil 2 on the PS1.
Really giving it a hard challenge there. Giving a hard fight, fighting Resident Evil 0, the worst game of the franchise.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I'm like I say, on the GameCube there was 4 and 0, and they obviously ported 3 and 2 and everything over later.
Yeah,
but everyone says 4 is the best. No, the Resident Evil remake on the GameCube is the best because 1, it looked phenomenal. It looked loads better than Resi 4. It had beautiful graphics. It still used the junky tank control scheme, which is the only way to play Resident Evil. You don't play it in third person over the shoulder. You don't play it in first person. You play it in janky tank controls, or it's not a Resident Evil game. It's just crud.
And if I'm not mistaken, because they did that remake of Resident Evil 1, then they actually had the assets. So when they came to doing the PlayStation 4 remake of Resident Evil 1, they could just up-res that.
Yeah.
Instead of having to dig and, well, they would have lost the original Resident Evil 1 files by that point because that's just how that generation went back then. So they actually had the original files, the source files to actually go back to actually bring Resident Evil 1 properly ported and fully upscaled correctly all the way up to the modern era at that point. So that's very that remake probably needs to get more credit than it deserves for that reason alone. I feel
it's amazing. It's one of the best. I think 2 is my favorite. The original 2, not the remake of 2. I think 2 is my favorite, but the remake on the GameCube is beautiful. It was amazing. I don't think I'd ever seen a game with that good graphics and that good, just looking that amazing at that time. It was by far ahead of its time. So
had Code Veronica as well, which was a pretty good light gun shooter.
Yeah, the Did it? I thought that was a PS2. The Code Veronica shooter one. The Code Veronica,
It was on
the original
GameCube.
Code Veronica
I've got the
was
list here.
on.
It says right here. It came out
Nice.
2003.
Oh well, there you go.
2000. I don't know. Everywhere else, March 2000. Japan
Nice.
2003, and everywhere else 2004.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So,
it did get Code Veronica, but it didn't get the shooter version. There was a shooter version of Code Veronica on PlayStation.
Oh, right.
And it was basically a
Code Veronica
sequel
Dark?
to it was a sequel to Survivor, the
Oh, right,
PS1 game, but it was just basically Code Veronica with a gun version, like a first-person Code Veronica. So fascinating facts. Did you know though the GameCube actually had VR capabilities? This has come out in the last couple of years that you can actually run Luigi's Mansion and stuff in VR through the just standard GameCube. And they never pushed it. It had it built in. Because
How
the
did
Switch
that
is
work?
it's basically using the same technology they put in the 3DS and stuff, but it already had it built in, but they never used it. It was just sat there not being used.
So what did you like? You put a headset on, and did it
No,
the
it
fake
could
screen thing, or
it could. I'm not 100% sure. I just know it could. It could pump it out. I can't remember now. It's been a while since I read it. Let's see if I can find it. So it says the 3D enabled. It's like stereoscopic 3D. It was working on the GameCube, so I'm not sure how it does it. Do you know like how the 3DS sort of messes with your eyes to make you think it's 3D? Basically, it could do that through your telly, but they never obviously they never went ahead with it for obvious reasons. So
it would have had depth.
Yeah, basically that sort of depth, not the sort of popping out your screen sort of 3D. The depth 3D.
Yeah,
so
it would have made like the HUD display feel like it was actually separate. So something like Metroid Prime, it would actually give where the visor effect is, it would actually give proper depth towards the actual background elements within the game.
It says here
feel a lot more realistic or sense.
Yeah, it says the technology would have come as a screen attachment for the GameCube. And it would sort of like jump out and have the depth, but it says the peripheral never saw the light of day because of high costs of the liquid crystal display required to produce it. So it would cost more for the screen than it would for the GameCube. But the capability, and it was still built in, it just wasn't activated in the background. Like modders and stuff found this 2018 it was when it came out on the 3DS. Basically, they found out that it existed.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, isn't it? So
that's pretty fun because it's like I'll always give like Nintendo that they always love experimenting. They'll always go like the extra mile on on a fun gimmick, like way harder than anybody else. I'll always give them that for doing stuff like that. But
yeah. And then they had the Panasonic Q, which I always wanted. That silver one that Panasonic did, where it was a GameCube with a DVD player built in. But I think it was America only. It was silver. It came with like a silver pad. Looked absolutely gorgeous, and I never got one. But I always wanted one. Always did. It's just one of those other things. And the GameCube had the first sort of wireless controller with a Wavebird. You forget that. So that big chunky Wavebird, and you plug the little adapter into the controller socket, and it shook. I'm sure it had a shake on it. So, but yeah, it was the Wavebird wireless controller released in 2002, and it was the first wireless gamepad developed by a first-party console manufacturer. So that's pretty cool. Crazy that you think how many of these things started. And I'm reading online, it says that even though it didn't sell well, it had over 600 games released on the GameCube.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I've always got the big long list, and I've just been going up and down it, and I've just been like, there's a couple of like crossover games, but it's just like, there's a surprising lot. Didn't you try and collect all of it at one point, or was that the N64?
No, N64, I got to about for I was about 50 odd off getting them all, but it got to a point where the retro boomed and got stupidly expensive.
Right, yeah.
I was the only ones I were missing were the ones that I couldn't and ever afford. So yeah, if you're a collector, the N64 is the easiest one to collect. Like for me though, I wasn't bothered about it being in box 100% because I wanted to play them. So I just bought carts if I could only buy carts, and they all got played. But yeah, the GameCube at the moment is currently seeing a massive surge in popularity, and like Gotcha Force now, last time I bought it, it was 60 quid, and then it went up to about 120 quid, and I think it's higher than that now. I haven't looked in a while, but the prices are insane, literally insane at the moment for GameCube games. It's going to become impossible to sort of get them. So
yep, and I'm not sure if you played it, but like it's definitely a game that needs to be talked about when it comes to like the GameCube, and that's Eternal Darkness.
I love Eternal Darkness. It frustrated me the first time I got it because I didn't realize it messes with you. And I got into a room and it kept saying my controller was unplugged. And I was like, fuck this game, and switched it off. Then I found out that's what it's supposed to do. Like, it messes with you. And then I went back and played it and had lots of fun with it. Such a good sort of like classic horror game, like a survival horror sort of game, like Resident Evil and stuff. But the way it messes with the player by like turning the screen black and turning it upside down, or random shit happening while you're in a room, and that it's very unique. And I'm surprised it never got a sequel because it was awesome. Please bring that back. I know the company that made it went tits up, but surely someone can buy the license.
Big way.
Yeah.
But there's going out of business, and then there's being irreparably sued to death.
Yes, but poor Silicon Knights.
They
shouldn't have made lots of rubbish games. Like on the GameCube, they made 2 GameCube games. They made Eternal Darkness, which was amazing, and they made Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, the remake of Metal Gear Solid, which was also
Twin Snakes,
really good, really, really good. And then they shit the bed. They made 2 Human, which was not a good game, but not the worst game. It just was overpromised, I feel.
I almost bought that game, and I wish I bought it, so I just kept the disc, because now you can't buy it anywhere.
They gave it away on Xbox. I think you can get it. If you go on the Xbox Marketplace, I think it's free at the moment. I think
it can't be. It's banned.
Nah, I swear to God. Mate.
I'm pretty sure it got banned.
I think it came back though. I think they brought it back. I don't know how. I'm looking now. I'm looking at like
THQ Nordic buy it in like a huge like bundle sale.
It's free. 2 Human you can get for absolutely nothing to own on the Xbox store right now. Just go on the store, type 2 Human in. Everyone can get it for free. Or at least in the UK you can. So talk to yourselves. Get it for free, guys. So and then they totally killed themselves by doing that really horrible X-Men game, that X-Men Destiny. So,
oh my God, yeah. Oh, that's so bad.
When did I'm reading on their Wikipedia, it said they were working on a Silent Hill game that got cancelled. When the hell did that happen?
Probably. Everybody had their hands on a Silent Hill game at some point.
Yeah, Konami pull the pants down for Silent Hill. Anyone can stick something in just because they'll let anyone have a finger in there, won't they, for fucking Silent Hill, literally. Some of the Silent Hill games, that PSP Silent Hill game or the PS Vita version, Jesus Christ, that was awful.
What? Because Sorrows?
Yeah, it's like a top-down shooter.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. Oh, but gonna bring it back, and we're actually going to talk about an absolute classic for just a brief second, because I gotta agree with a lot of people, and I'll get probably flagged for saying this, but Mario Kart Double Dash is the best Mario Kart game.
No,
it's just so goddamn good.
It's good. It's good with friends, but on your own, it's rubbish.
Yeah, but with friends, it's the best.
It is a fun game. I'll
make you admit it.
I swear that's Nightfire that keeps coming on screen. We're saving Nightfire. Nightfire's coming, guys. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
The best
we'll
James
talk about
Bond
Nightfire.
game.
Nightfire gets its own separate video.
Yeah, Nightfire's getting its own show, guys, because Nightfire is amazing.
Yeah,
so like and subscribe for that stuff.
Yeah, I'll talk Eurocom all day. They made a right bunch of like James Bond games. I mean, they went off on a right stinker, but they made some proper bangers.
Do you remember that giant controller for the GameCube that had all the buttons in it? It's like a keyboard in a pad.
The keyboard one, yeah. Because I just saw it in a tournament about 2 hours ago. No joke. I just saw like on Twitter, like someone sent a picture to stop skeletons from fighting, a picture of that pad being played at a Smash tournament, and he was just like, "This is my proudest moment ever."
That is amazing. Yeah, I love them. I think that it's awesome. I never really played Phantasy Star Online. It's one of those games I never got into, which I always wanted to. But back then, like we had like AOL dial-up. It's like
yeah, it was proper bad. Like I remember my sister had Phantasy Star 2, and it looked so amazing. I mean, now I know what type of game it is, and now I would play the ever-loving F out of it because it's just Monster Hunter. But like back then, it was just this like. I don't think we'd ever played anything like it back then.
No, not us particularly. I don't think anyway.
Because we were just like on the cusp of like getting into like online gaming. Like I think we were just like getting into like playing like Counter-Strike at that point.
Yeah,
but we were playing LAN games. No, we weren't playing online games.
No, I tell you one game I did play a lot on my GameCube: Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
Oh god, I thought you were going to say Harry Potter Quidditch.
Well, we played that as well. Oh my god, well, let's jump into Harry Potter Quidditch as well. That is an amazing game.
The best Harry Potter game ever made.
Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. Oh my god, it's just Quidditch, but it's the most. When you think about it, it's the most lax game ever. There's only 4 teams. There's literally like 2 pitches in it because they all look the same. And there's like 3 modes. There's so little to do in it.
Yeah, I think they had like the Hogwarts court, one in a canyon, and Hogwarts with the rain.
I can't remember. There wasn't a lot though. I just know there wasn't a lot of teams. There wasn't a lot of modes.
There wasn't a lot, but it felt really good.
Yeah, we played that to death because it was multiplayer.
Like it's strange because it's a sports game done by EA. It felt really good. Oh, I just got another thing. Just like watching these footage now, just made me realize another like good like set of games we played back then. The street games. Do you remember the EA street games? Because like they were on GameCube as well.
NFL Street, FIFA Street, yes,
and NBA.
Yeah, why have they not? Yeah, NBA Street is what I meant, not NFL. There might have been an NFL Street.
No, there was an NFL. There was an NFL.
Was there Hockey Street as well, though, is what I mean. There was NFL, NBA.
I don't think there was
FIFA.
an NHL.
Yeah, it was NFL, NBA, FIFA, and they were all awesome. EA, what are you doing? Bring those buggers back. Like, it's like Def Jam. You had something great. Why are you not doing it with it? God damn it, EA.
Don't bring up Def Jam. It's sad when Def Jam tweets out Def Jam anything to do with Def Jam, and everyone gets so excited and there's like, we lied, and it's like, don't do that to us. Don't.
But there were so many cool games. Like I say, it holds a very special place in my heart. I mean, we haven't really talked about a lot into the background of it or anything. We're just reminiscing really in this episode. It's just to sort of get it off our chests and recount sort of fun times. I highly recommend though, if you're struggling to get a GameCube console, buy a normal standard Wii, backwards compatible with all GameCube games, which is amazing, and the controls and memory cards. So for those out there wanting to play GameCube games but they maybe can't get hold of a console or not got the space, play them through a Wii. They do work.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great workaround. Leave off on another game. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. Surprisingly, really good.
Yeah, Pikmin, another classic game. So many. When you think back, classic Nintendo franchises sort of came out of the GameCube. Like ones that you like, F-Zero got really big on the GameCube, and then never sort of like it. I know it'd come out on the earlier consoles, F-Zero, but it got really big on the GameCube.
Yeah,
And then,
F-Zero GX. Yeah, they pretty much stopped after that, and it's a real shame because it's an absolute amazing game, amazing racing game, insane, and it has one of the most. You can customize not only a track, you can also customize your races to the point in which the people have done some crazy like courses on it, to the point where you can start flying. If I'm not
wow,
mistaken, like if you build your car right, you can just fly. And it's
wow,
just
that's pretty
bonkers.
awesome.
It's really crazy.
That is ace. But yeah, like I said, there was so much cool things about the GameCube. Like I say, even the arcade machines are basically powered by GameCube sort of software now. Like the ones that had the Mario Kart arcade and the F-Zero arcade and stuff. They're all basically the same thing. I can't remember what they're called now, but there's so many cool games out on it. The Triforce arcade board that was developed between Nintendo, Namco, and Sega is based on the GameCube. So they were really cool games. Yeah, I'm just sad it died, and it never gets the recognition it deserves. They didn't, like I say, technically it's 20 years this year in the UK, but it was 20 years in Japan and America last year. What did they do for it? Nothing. They didn't. They don't give anything. They shat on us with that Mario Collector's Edition that they delisted. I mean, what's that? What's that about?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that Nintendo kind of like just missed a dark spot in their career, as if they would like to look at it that way.
Like the Wii U, it's in the corner with it. It's cone of shame on its head next to
Yeah,
Game.
kind of. But it's at the same time, it's just like this thing's got absolute bangers on it. Like you got to remember, like this thing was more powerful than the Wii.
Yeah,
So
basically
the games held up way longer than anything that was actually on the Wii. You know,
yeah, the controller was better.
Smash Brothers Melee is still technically the best selling and best prize pool fighting game of all time. And I mean, you could start to go on for Double Dash, best Mario Kart racing game of all time. Sunshine, amazing Mario game, no one can deny that. Wind Waker, not controversial at all. And you know, the list just goes on and on of actually like classic bangers on this console. Primal Rage, Bloody Roar, Primal Rage, best Bloody Roar. That's a lie. It's the worst.
I must admit that the other Smash Bros did sell more than Melee, but they're not like Brawl sold more. It sold 13 million. But
yes,
compared to the amount of consoles sold, so like Smash Bros sold, I think 7 and a bit million Melee to like 22 million consoles sold, whereas Brawl sold 13 to over like 100 million. So a huge amount of people played bloody those games. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, it was like the staple of them. Ultimate has sold 25.7.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna deny like the recent Smashes have obviously done better, but like when you like look at like what people would play, like if you were gonna say like okay, I'm gonna put a Smash tournament, what's gonna get the most entries? It's gonna be a Melee tournament, hands down.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people rushing to play Super Smash Bros for Wii U at Smash tournaments.
Yeah, no one's turning up to a Brawl tournament. No one's turning up to a 4 tournament, and so people will turn up for an Ultimate and for Melee, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, but people, if you are watching,
Alien Hominid was on the GameCube.
Yeah, that's
Holy
where
shit.
it came out on physical on GameCube first, and then it came to like Xbox and stuff later on digitally.
Yeah, Alien Hominid, the game we played on Flash in in our IT department, and
Yeah.
it came out on the GameCube.
Hey, they're living their life, mate. That's the dream, innit? Having a GameCube game come out. That's it. And also, we found out there's a lot of Batman games. You found out early, didn't you?
Yeah, there's like a good like 5 of them, and there's all from different eras. You've got Batman, like because like Batman Begins came out at the same time, so like that got a tie-in game. There's like 2 from the actual Batman animated series, and then there's a fourth one, which I don't know what it's tied to, but there's a 4th Batman game. And I was like, okay, there's a lot
Yeah,
of Batman
a
games
lot of
here.
them were bad though. They're well known for
Probably
being
all of them are
dog.
bad.
I think Batman Begins or whatever it is isn't that bad for a tie-in game, but it's nothing. It's not going to blow your socks off, sort of thing.
Yeah. Evolution.
Oh man, I want to go play some GameCube now. Fuck's sake.
Get on that Dolphin emulator then.
Yeah. There were so many weird ones though. There were so many cool weird games. I mean, honestly, PNO3, Lost Kingdom. I'm trying to think what others. Even that bloody Donkey Kong Jungle Beat with the bloody bongos you smashed. You know, that was great. It wasn't a good game, but it was cool. And then they brought out like a platformer afterwards for it as well for the GameCube, and you had to play with the bongos to like do the jumps and stuff. You had dead hands by the end of each level, like, but it was fun. As a kid, you didn't care. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, you got like, oh my god, Fireplay. That's a PlayStation 2 game. What the hell is that doing on here? Flush out. Just like, oh my god, what was the fight? What the hell is a Fire Emblem doing on here?
Yeah, it had a Fire Emblem. There was loads of cool stuff. It also had the best game of that generation. It had Return of the King. So all good.
Yeah.
It had
a lot of Lord of the Rings games.
Yeah, it had the one that was the basically Final Fantasy.
It had Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. It also had Lord of the Rings, The Third Age, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and that's it. So yeah, you're thinking of the Third Age. Also had the Hobbit, but we don't talk about the Hobbit.
I didn't mind the Hobbit game. I played it recently, like about 8 months ago, and it wasn't that bad. It was a capable 2D and a capable 3D sort of semi-open world platforming, similar to sort of Spyro or something like that, but with Frodo.
Yeah,
kind of loosely followed the plot of the films or the books, should I say?
Books.
But it added its own sort of flair, like the films, where they sort of fluffed out stuff that didn't need fluffing out and added things in that weren't really needed to be added in. But it's playable. Like I say, it's a fun little game. I've got it on original Xbox at the moment, so...
Yeah, didn't it come out? Because obviously if it's on this, it came out at the same time as like the movie. So I'm guessing like the main problem was like everyone was expecting it to just play like the Two Towers or Return of the King.
We'll have to save that for a Lord of the Rings episode because I can talk about Lord of the Rings games for years.
For a lot longer.
There's a lot of cool Lord of the Rings stuff to go through.
Oh my god, Lost Kingdoms was made by From Software. Hot damn.
Yeah.
Was that the weird one with the weird bloody music on it?
I can't remember.
I'm
sure it had the dragon on. It had like a girl looking really weird with like weird sort of bug eyes and a dragon on the cover.
Yep, girl with a dragon. You've nailed it. Yep.
But yeah, that's
you've literally just described the front cover as well. You pretty much nailed it one to one there.
And then the PNO3 was done by Capcom, and it kind of reminds me. I can't remember playing it nowadays. I didn't play it a lot, but the cover, it's like a woman in like some sort of like white silver sort of spacesuit with like shades on. She sort of slid around shooting things, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It's a game they shut out within 2 months because they were trying to make I think it was called the Capcom 5. They were trying to make 5 original games for the GameCube, and they completely shat the bed and messed it up because they had. Let's see if I can try to remember it. Viewful Joe, Resident Evil 4, P&O. There was another one they had in the works. I think it was called like Project Dragon or Project Drake. And maybe one other. Maybe it was Capcom 4. I can't remember. But yeah, there's a long history about it. It's the reason why like why there's the famous quote about Resident Evil 4 and the director saying, like, if this comes out on another console, I'll eat my hat.
It was Killer 7, which did
come out, there you go, Killer 7,
which was actually a decent game.
It was.
And Dead Phoenix. It was going to be a 3D shoot-em-up featuring a winged man named Phoenix, and it was cancelled. So 4 of the 5 came out, but Dead Phoenix obviously didn't.
Never saw the light of day ever.
But yeah, Killer 7 was a fun little game as well. I enjoyed that.
It was weird, but it was so interesting. Like you played that game, you just like you had no idea what was going to happen next, because it's like you're kind of playing a first-person shooter, but you're really not, and you had no idea what it was going to happen next. Like,
Capcom need to bring these classics back though, like Beautiful Joe. Why is there not been another one since? Do you know what I mean?
If you want to play Beautiful Joe, you just play any like current Platinum game, and you're playing a new version of Beautiful Joe. Platinum has been knocking it out of the park with like Bayonetta and Vanquish and all their like current releases of like Metal Gear Solid, Rising. There you go. I remember the name. And their work on the Nier series has been absolutely stunning. But I would love it if they made one more Beautiful Joe game. It'd be amazing. I'd be so happy. Especially if they could put Virgil in it. I mean, they put Dante in the PlayStation 2 version. That's great. But if they put Virgil with his ghost swords, that'd be the best.
Well, we're coming to the end of our time. Like I said, we were only going to do half an hour, but we've gone long again. Thank you to anyone who's watching this on YouTube live. When it goes live, we're not recording it live, obviously, as normal. But if you're watching it sort of when it goes live on YouTube, big thank you to that. And this will be up on the streaming services like the last episode was, maybe a day or two after it goes up in video format. But hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below what your favourite GameCube memories are, what sort of games you love to play on the GameCube, and also what you want to see us chat about. We've got some ideas for stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of sort of retro series, retro anniversaries, modern retro consoles, because clearly you guys like modern retro stuff as well. So there's going to be a bit of everything coming bit by bit over the next few episodes. But if there's something you really want us to do, post in the comments and we'll do our best to, if it's something we can talk about, like we know about it, we'll do it. But we're trying to focus on stuff we know about slightly. And we can have a good chat about, basically. But it means a lot. Like I say, last week's episode did absolute crazy numbers as of recording, because we're recording this like a week in advance. It's gone live as of today, and it's got over double the views that our highest, most watched podcast on any of the shows we've done has got so far. So last week's episode was a banger in terms of watchers. So big thank you to everyone, and big thank you to all those crazy people in the chat as well who were commenting away. You've give us a good smile this week, I must admit. It's true. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I too like to see the algorithm work.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how it works. I'm still in awe of the YouTube gods. Like this one, like 5 people will watch it now because YouTube's just like, nah, not today. I'm not doing that today. You had your chance. I've changed my mind. My algorithm has changed. And you're like, all right, whatever, mate, whatever. But I think we'll call it there. Let us know what your favourite GameCube memories are. And we'll see you soon for another episode of the We Blow Karts podcast. Thank you very much for joining me, Alistair. We've had a good time. Sorry, it's nearly midnight here in the UK fine. Recording this. But you just needed to talk about that GameCube. You know you did.
Just need to talk about those good Parappa the Rapper memories.
Yeah, they started off as it was going to be a Parappa the Rapper episode, and literally 2 minutes before we were going to start recording, we changed it to a GameCube one because
Outlaw Golf. We could have talked about Outlaw Golf.
Oh, that's it. You see, you're missing out on this classic content here. Outlaw Golf. That's it. 6-hour live stream about outlaw golf and its many
Piglet's
modes.
big game.
Oh man, maybe tie-in games would be a good show. I think definitely like tie-in games, like movie tie-ins and stuff.
Oh,
So many.
Hell yeah.
But just on the GameCube alone, there was so many. It had a lot.
I mean, it was part of that era. It was part of that cream, like proper, like yeah, like there was a lot of tie-in games to that in that era for sure.
Yeah, bloody hell, wasn't there just? But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you soon for more content. Hit like, hit comment, hit subscribe. It means the world to us. And enjoy gaming. That's the best bit about it. That's what it's all about, enjoying gaming, new or old. But that's it. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.